Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing Senator Natasha's rancor that happened in the House. You see, here is my own concern, because we're trying to build a better nation, a nation that has strong systems where rules are obeyed to the letter. And this is where my concern is. I totally agree that this is a woman whose voice should not in any way be suppressed. Is a woman who should be allowed to express her views. However, in that house, there are rules. And if the rule says you can only address the Senate President, he is the leader of all of them. You can only address it from where you've been assigned. It's the house rule. What we're trying to teach young people, teach anybody who's looking from outside in, is like, this place is a sacred chamber. They are distinguished senators for a reason. Yeah. So you first go to where you are located. And then you can now protest and say, this is not my seat. I want to be properly, this is where I want to be. So that, for me, you're obeying the rule of law, because we're trying to also build a nation where people respect
the rule of law.
Rules. No matter in what condition, no matter how you think, oh, they're treating me this way. First and foremost, obey. Yeah. I mean, so I would definitely want to support
you're taking us back to military time. You see that obey before complain.
I'm
used to be a rule to silence.
I'm trying to see how we are strengthening our democracy, because you go to other countries in the world, they'll tell you to, this is the rule, obey first. Then you can begin to now write letters or request it and everything. So that's how we do this. Let me in our country, let us scatter everything.
No.
We scatter it.
Amaka, just a minute. Okay. Obey first can be your own injustices. You are consenting to an injustice against your person.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sometimes you don't have to obey.
Man, you stoop to conquer.
No. Sometimes you don't stoop. Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Yes.
If the consequence of it is not so grievous, you might say, okay, let me be considerate of it. But sometimes you see that obey before complain. It was a military rule. I went to command. It means that first of all, suffer the grievance and before you can address it. Yes. So while you're being beaten down, a lot of times, sir, I'm not the one. It wasn't that you crossed that line. I'm on my way to the toilet. Girls who had to change their period pads were beaten silly in that school, and the word was obey before complain. They are being beaten. You are explaining that I did not disobey. I just went to change. You have the evidence in your hand. Maybe you've not disposed. Nobody will listen. That fact that nobody should listen it goes to the root of lack of fair hearing. It's an imbalance. It's an injustice itself.
An injustice itself.
So it's not all the time. So now, house rules or no house rules. Let's say both of them were being smaller people. Couldn't the Senate President himself be a bigger person? If she was emotional, let's assume women could give us all the time that we're emotional beings, that she was, being a woman. Couldn't the Senate President be a bigger person?
How would he have done it?
Would he have put off her mic? Would he have allowed her finish her point?
I will not address you from that place.
He was silencing her.
No, he said, I can't address
silencing her.
You need to get to your issue. Let me come to Amaka.
But he didn't do that for other people.
Amaka, let me pause you for a second. I have the callers been holding. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good morning. Go ahead, Amaka.
Okay, you said that we're teaching the younger ones to obey before.
No, I didn't say that.
Sorry.
I'm saying that people must obey.
That people must obey. That's the same way we also, since for the past many years, we are now saying no to bullying, right? That is our fight. Now we're saying no to any form of injustice, no to bullying. Speak up if you're being suppressed and bullied. Let me ask you guys, because we are moving towards, we're coming into the International Women's Month. So please, how many women do we actually have in this as senators in Nigeria? How many do we even have? So, because it brings me to the question when you ask, like I said, okay, what are the procedures for senators going on foreign trips or things like that? Regardless of anything they want to do on the procedures, a woman should always feature in everything they are doing, because now we're trying to fight for women to be included in politics, and not for the little ones that we have that are there that want to speak. We keep demeaning them, telling them that they're in a nightclub, hushing them, not letting them speak up, bullying them. That's the no. We're not going to take it. Yes,
the feminists are
spoken. No, we say no to that. Do you understand? Because there should be. This is the more reason why they should give us a little bit of. Well, if they said that they want more women in politics, we can see what's been going on over the years. Look at how many women we even have out there as senators. At least give them a little bit of grace. Extend a bit of grace to them.
Okay, let me come to you.
Yeah, I'm trying very hard to articulate what I have in mind, so it doesn't come off like. But I totally disagree with both of you. I disagree in the sense that if we have to take politics and leadership as no gender, we're aspiring to have many more women in representing us, right? And we want to balance it out that it's not about gender. That means what applies to A should apply to B, whether you're male or female. And rules must be rules. Rules are rules. Rules must be obeyed. Now, if you have to question, you don't necessarily have to question on camera. You can take the bill you are passing that day is not that by the time you pass it, it will pass first reading, second reading immediately, and it will be implemented that day. You can always pass your bill another day. You can step out of that situation, allow it phase out, then go back to lobbying. It's politics we're playing here. And we're taught in politics that you must, for you to be able to get anything, you will lobby. You see the way you enter that place? That's how you keep getting things. You will lobby your way. You will find out what exactly, you will get the stakeholders involved, your supporters, ask them, what is happening? What have I done? Why am I here? What is my purpose for being here? And how do I move out of here? Because I don't like this place. It's not going to work for my constituency. If you need to write letters, write letters. If you need to, send emails, send emails. If you need to call a meeting and say, I need to understand so that I know if you say I should be here for some time, would you still give me my privileges? I just don't like the fact that it was out there in the open. That's one. Secondly, I saw the nightclub stuff, right? And I want to use this opportunity to say that we receive information as a result. The way we receive information is the way our mindset is at that moment.
Based on our experiences.
Based on our experiences and our mindset at that time, right? Because when I saw his commenter, she spoke without being called, which was against the House rules. I'm talking about rules now. She spoke without being called. And the Senate president had to say, I've not called you for you to speak. That's not how we do it here. And he said it jokingly. This is not a, he was laughing when he said it. This is not a nightclub. And I was asking myself, with the sort of relationship that we hear they had, that was not something to be offensive about. He laughed about it. He passed it on. He may not have said it to a man, I don't know, but I'm just saying that probably her mindset, probably something else was already going on, and she received it a wrong way. But looking at the see, when person won't throw you something, get as they throw them. Looking at the disposition of the Senate president in that comment, it was more like, you know this thing now, sit down, Jare, we are not here to, this is not, this is a serious thing. But they took it, I want to say, my opinion, out of context, and then it seemed like he was deliberately shutting her down. But she flouted the rule by speaking before being asked. We're not looking at that. You can be correct.
Good morning. Staying with us. We're going to be wrapping up very soon on this senator's story. You see, the reason why I keep standing on this issue of systems, because I am big on systems, because the only way our country will move forward is if indeed we begin to respect our systems. The Senate president is not who you talk to anyhow. This is somebody who is the leader of the house, and there are ways of doing things. You see, for someone like me now, I can't go to school, work hard as an engineer, get all my qualifications, get a big job, maybe a company like Schlumberger, and say, oh, because the reason why they're giving me ED is because she's a woman. I don't want to fulfill anybody's quota.
True.
I want to become ED. I want to become managing director of Schlumberger because I did the work. Don't give me that quota because I'm a woman. So that's why I keep saying we don't want you serving us things. What exactly is the criteria for us to get all these perks you're giving us? And you're not giving us any, let us know exactly what are the issues. So it is in those things that we cannot start saying, oh, it's because I fought with him. That's why he removed me from this committee. Because something happened, I fell out. That's why I'm not going on foreign trips. Those things, they sound funny to my ears. Because really and truly, we don't want women to be served in that manner. Yes, there are quotas here and there. But the truth is that there should be things done properly. That's one. And secondly, I feel that if we want to help young people to believe in this system, because I keep going back to this system, me speaking against my boss openly like that, I think is not the right way. Because my mother says, into my mobile, I call she be a boy. It's not like saying you obey before command. Sometimes you stoop a bit to conquer. Say, you know what? This thing I need for me to win in this house. Certain things I need to do properly. There are times to fight. There's a time to calm down. There's time to be abrasive. There's a time to say your mind.
So patriarchy has forced us as women to always think this way.
Exactly.
Patriarchy has made us. There's this video of Chimamanda going that when a man does something, he's given a nice positive title. When a woman does it, she's manipulative, she's
seen as aggressive.
Aggressive. You know, there's so many names to it. Senator Natasha, to me, from what I've observed over these years, is not someone who is asking to be recognized just because she's a woman. She did not. If it's about woman, that day on the election should have been crying on the street, help, and you know, doing all those. She went and fought as if she was a man.
Exactly. With
injuries on her face, pushing for an energy plant at Ajaokuta is representing her people in the way men have failed over the years.
Exactly.
In the way men from that same Kogi region have failed their people. Look at Ajaokuta, look at where it is. It is as if they don't have senators from that region. Over these years, she did not come to the house to be recognized just because she's a woman. If somebody is deliberately conniving with the whip, or the chief whip of the house, to put her in a place where she feels slighted, she should speak up.
Yes.
And anyhow where she speak up, we'll go hear her. The point is, the Senate president was in the same position under Senator Saraki as Senate president then. He did not comport himself. Videos are online. When I check YouTube, he was shouting. His agbada was flying, walking around.
Thank you very much.
The same Senate president now is sitting and doesn't understand that he should be a bigger person.
Thank you.
When she was shouting, she came up and she did not stand up against any rules of the house. She found a rule of the house, which she read out and asked him, please, can I be heard on this, before she started to scream.
Yes.
And even on that, he was saying, not on that seat, I will not address you. But when it happened that time, he too wanted to play victim. He would have allowed her express herself and say, Chief Whip and her should solve that issue, but going forward, I would not recognize you. But he immediately silenced her and put off her mic, even when she was reading a rule of the house.
Okay, go ahead, Amaka.
Okay. So, like, I want to respond to
respond away.
Yes, I want to respond to BC that said that, you know, she'll have soup to conquer, written letters and letters. Letter to who? At the end of the day, see, the reason why people go to court is because they feel that they can get justice. And that's why they can get their lawyers, they write all the letters, write all the proceedings, and blah, everything will happen. But when you're writing letter that at the end of the day, they are bitter, the judge, everything is still the same Senate president. When you don't feel like you're going to get justice, you will speak up. And why are we acting as if we're not Nigerians? When we see all the katakata in the house, people jumping and throwing things and fighting.
We should join the katakata.
No, we're not saying we should join. No, we're not saying we should join. No, we're not saying we should join. We're not saying we should join the katakata. The lady did not do katakata. She stood up and she read an order. And the rules of privilege that excuses her to speak.
Not come under a particular
object. So please, she did not do scatter. She stood up as a smart woman. She knew the rules, found the general one, and you know, I expect the Senate president to also know that and.
Okay. He was wanted to defend him. He said, no.
He said, yes,
off the mic. And when she continued to say, I will not be silent.
Unless you are recognized.
First of all,
cannot speak.
Yes.
Thank you. Sometimes she addressed. You can speak under an emergency. You can speak.
Nima.
There are several rules.
This one was not an emergency case. You can address the house. She addressed the house rather from a wrong seat. That was against the rule. That should have been sorted out later, right? Now, is she telling me that the people who are on those seats before that moved were not able to achieve anything in the house because they were on that seat? What's special about her being in her seat? If she has been, if she has been reassigned. So you need to find out why, the purpose for your reassignment, first of all. She addressed the house from a wrong seat. That was wrong.
Out of the part where she said my second reading of my bill has not been read on the floor of the house for this long. Do you know that they can put protocol and be
but she was not on the right seat now.
That day.
She was not on the right seat.
It was not that day.
It was not that day.
Issues.
So that
she joined another issue.
Yes.
She joined another issue. What was already. No.
This is not the time for her.
And if she had followed stoop to this thing, they would have suspended her on that day.
See, let me tell you something.
Because she said it.
Let's not cover the rules because we feel we are women and we are always marginalized, right? Let's that marginalization issue, we can always fight it another time. We can always build the evidence to fight it. So if she has sat on that seat that they assigned her and she tried to talk and did not answer her, she tried again to talk, and now we have something to hold. So you don't first of all offend and then you are claiming right on the other side. By the time they judge, even if they go to the court of law and they judge this matter, she was wrong already.
No.
She was already wrong. She should have sat on that seat, because people who were on those seats before they even moved them, are you telling me they did not achieve anything in that house? Sit on the seat first, and then we can now
this
push.
house you are talking about, how many years remain?
And let me tell you something.
What if she doesn't get
And let me tell you something.
How many
If she not reach the privileges rule, she will have been suspended. That's why I said if you need to also listen. She has come out to
know the rules now.
Not
everybody now.
One senator that was trading.
Yes.
They were reading the rules for him from the seat in front. He still could not get it. I don't want to mention constituency so that the people will not come for me.
My own is that when there's a case, they say it's important to hear from both sides. She has come out and she has said her own truths. They've given Senate President opportunity. They've called him. He's refused to say.
Senate President.
Let me land now. And from what she said, she's the one in the House. She said that if she did not start reading the privileges, that he will have suspended immediately. But because she knows the rules, and immediately she started reading the privileges.
They say make you shut up.
We need to wrap up on this, and I'd like to take a few comments on social media. Let's see some of the comments from our viewers. You know, I think all of us here, we've all supported the importance of supporting women. We've all been advocates of pushing women out there and getting involved in politics. No doubt about that here on this table. But I think where it's important for us to highlight is the fact that in certain areas, we must be also proponents of the rule of law, how things are supposed to be done, and know that we're going there not just with aggression, but also with civility. Because the idea really is to see how we can solve problems by being civil. And that's something we don't have in this part of the world. We are constantly it's about let us just scatter it, let them know. It's not about that all the time. We must always have at the back of our mind that we are change makers, we are pace setters, and we must be able to see how to ensure that the rule of law is established. So we're not saying she was wrong in trying to fight
for her rights, or
push the agenda of her constituency. Absolutely not. Nobody will say that. We're saying that in that respect for the institution of the Senate, they said that you've been moved. The right thing for you to do is to respect that. And after that, you can now protest and lobby and get your way back. But it's not about speaking back at the Senate President, even although he has also done the same thing in the past. You're right, the videos where he also was rude at some point. But you see, that's not the way we must continue. At what point do we stop this bad behavior? Because if somebody has stopped him from that bad behavior, maybe she wouldn't have done that, because we need to stop this constant bad behavior.
So this one-off is not an example that we can generalize on Natasha, Senator Natasha Akpoti. We watched the House when he did that slight comment on her as a woman. She sat, put together, and she took it.
Yes.
Did you see her shout like this? Today when she can't shout,
the problem.
Our foul can't be nonsense far away. When up no carrying picking. This has built up. It was building all these years. This was required now, and that's why she did it now. That's my point. She has always taken his slight comments. Slight comments. Quietly. Carried herself for even the ordinary woman comment there.
Yes.
She took it where it was Nigerians that called him out. She didn't say a word before he came on the floor of the House and apologized.
Could it be that it's the calling out that even made it look like an issue?
No, this particular time, I am not afraid of you. He carry comment. He carry comments. Carry meaning.
This is our social media life. I have to go on a break. This our social media can be very misleading.
Yes, so
you see when they will say kill him, shoot him, because they're all pushing you. And you now, you as a senator, you're on my side, they're backing me up. You now go out speaking back to your Senate President. We must be very careful. Social media will continue to push you. No, and I saw that comment several times where people will be telling you, go ahead.
Nobody was. When we were supporting her, not be that time she asked. This change of seats that she's talking on,
go on a break.
Meaning there.
We have to wrap. When I come back, we hopefully wrap up on this. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Staying with us, we're still finalizing now on this topic so we can bring in our guests. So your comments on social media so we can
Nima. Somebody said Nima won't kill me. She said how many years remain? Oluwaseun says she has been head of various committees. What privileges? Natasha dare not do this in Sharia Nigeria on a public whipping. Just reason was saying that. And somebody said, this woman is too beautiful to be a senator. What is she for being?
So someone says, Morayo, now waiting you post for Instagram. Now you make me come here today. Hope say now your next topic. I beg, what you post for Instagram?
Our next topic.
Yes, so George says, Everyone must have been told of the change of arrangements in the Halu chamber before the business of the day. Ghania says, Aslis, holding leaders accountable doesn't mean shouting and tearing down the house. There are better ways to solve the issue. She could have displayed better maturity than Akpabio in what we are saying. Lala 12 says, the senior president should learn how to address women because they can be emotional sometimes. Queen B says, Natasha defended herself. If she did not read the privileges rule, then I can say she was wrong. You cannot shut women up. We agree there should be rule of law. Akpabio has been on her one too many.
Okay, so I think we all agree. I mean, as I said, nobody wants to a woman to be discriminated against, and I think that nobody here is supporting. If indeed the Senate President has been discriminated against her, nobody want that to for her at all. But I think also at the same time, what I also advocating for is that we need to build systems such that people obey rules of the house. I think that's what the point. For the topic Nigerians are expecting me to talk about, the truth is that, you see, and I like to connect it to what I said earlier. Let's be very careful of internet and social media cheers.
How they push.
People will be pushing you to say certain things because the angle was, she called out Mr. President, and that was not the intention. I mean, who am I to call out the president? Because the truth is that this is a person that has been there, and he was there for my father even till he died. This man paid for his trip to go abroad. My dad, my mother, and even Bartunde, who's a long-term driver, to go US, UK, Germany, just for his health. And after he died, he supported my father for the burial. So this is not somebody I can call out. But I think in this situation, what was said had to be said. Because many people had questions. And there are a lot of questions. Who was Babangida afraid of? Who are the cabal? Who are the people that are pushing him? What did he see? Who are those? There's so many things that we had to say. So definitely, and the questions they're valid questions that Nigerians generally are asking.
Yeah, you asked it, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And other people, so there's nothing to discuss on the matter. I mean, let Nigerians table what they want to table on their own. But that is all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll bring in our guest who's going to be talking to us about the visa on arrival policy. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right